Hello, guys. And here are the verbs in the indefinite form. Now, as I mentioned in class, in Russian, pretty much every verb has its imperfect and perfect variants. Imperfect is the one that implies a continuous action, while perfect is the one that implies a completed action. In English, we don't have this. We just use context to let us figure out whether we're talking about a continuous action or a completed action. For example, if I say, I want to do this every day, it's it's understood that this is a continuous ongoing action. But if somebody says, I want to make sure you do this before the deadline, uh, this is probably a single completed action. And so in English, both of those are using the verb to do. And by context, we know whether they're talking about the process or they're going about talking about the completed action. But in Russian, they're going to be two different variants of the verb to do. How critical is it to use the right version? In many cases, it's actually not that important. But in some cases, it could be. We will be, as we go through these, I'll be giving you hints on when to use one or the other. Actually, I can give them to you right now, and it goes like this: when there's any kind of a mention of a frequency for something to be done, you would usually want to use the imperfect form. And also, when you're emphasizing the process rather than the result of the verb, you would also be using the imperfect form. For example, you could say, I like to walk with him. But if you can also phrase that is, I like walking with him. Here you are, here you see how the continuous form fits just fine. So you probably want to use the imperfect form here when you would translate this into Russian. On the other hand, when you're emphasizing the completion of something or that it's a singular action that needs a completion, you would probably use the perfect form. And I think another way of looking at this would be if you're focusing on the actual process of the verb, you would use the imperfect form, the continuous form. But if you're focusing on the result of the action, then you'll be using the perfect form or the completed form. I will be commenting more on this in examples. So over time, we will build a sense of which one to use. But as I was saying, especially at this level, it's not that critical. It's okay to make these mistakes. Um, it's just important to know that two of these forms exist. But all of these verbs here are in the imperfect form. All right, here we go. To do, делать, делать. To eat, есть, есть. You have probably noticed that it's the same word that we used for when we talked about us having something, like у меня есть. It spells the same and it is pronounced the same. However, there are two different meanings for it. The other one is to eat. To drink, пить, пить, to know, знать, знать, to go, идти, идти. This is, if I were to break it down by letter, it would be id, t. However, when I pronounce it in regular conversation, it would be, it sounds more like the English word it and then the English word t put together. For example, if I say I want to go, it would be я хочу идти. You don't really hear the d sound. You just hear it. You just hear the t sound. Я хочу идти. That's how it would sound in a natural conversation. To study, учить, учить. The verb учить actually can also mean to teach, and it depends if it's followed. If we say учить and then it's followed by a subject, it's understood that it is to study that subject. But if it's we say учить and it is followed by a person or a group of people, it's understood that we are teaching those people. To help, помогать, помогать. To speak or to talk. Говорить, говорить. To play. Играть. Играть. To buy. Покупать. Покупать. To pay. Платить. Платить. To sell. Продавать. Продавать. To wait. Ждать. Ждать. To understand. Понимать. Понимать. To be. Быть. Быть. To think. Думать. Думать. To watch. Смотреть. Смотреть.